Hi, Alexa.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Thank you.
Good, thank you. I'm Tarin. Then if you're in.
Okay, come on in, pop up here.
I'm going to silence and mute everyone. Okay. Fantastic. Hi, everybody. I hope that you're having a wonderful day. I'm Tarin, or the Chocolate Pretzel. I'm going to be taking us through a little bit of a kind of movement-centered flow today. We're going to move a lot through the hips and a lot through the lower legs and lower limb. So I really just want you to stay aware of what's happening with your feet. We're going to be doing quite a few movements into the toes or thinking about the undersides of the feet and the way that the feet move. So just allow your shoulders to relax away from your ears. And take a moment to arrive here in this space. Give me 1 second. Sorry, my screen keeps shifting here. Fabulous. So just taking a few moments, relaxing shoulders away from the ears, pressing down into the feet, and allowing yourself to just come into the natural rhythm of your breath. Feeling your breath moving through your body as it is, without trying to change or alter it. You can allow the eyes to close if that's comfortable for you, or maybe keeping the eyes open, letting the gaze softly focus on a point right in front of you that's not moving. Hi, and welcome to anyone joining. We're just going to take a few moments. Start to push down into the balls of your feet. Lift your heels up off of the ground, pushing down into the toes. And as you exhale, allow your heels to land gently. Let your toes lift. Inhale, slowly draw your weight forward into the balls of the feet. Start to allow your weight to come forward and your heels to lift off of the ground. And exhale, lowering your heels down. Starting to shift your weight back into your heels and lifting your toes. If your eyes are still closed for this, then just feeling where your body needs to find that little bit of balance. Noticing where you struggle to move up, where the shake happens. Otherwise, just opening the eyes and finding a spot to rest the gaze on. Letting the movement of your breath continue to move your body. And bring yourself back, standing into your feet. Start to stretch your arms up toward the ceiling, lengthen into your fingertips, and ground down into your feet. Let your palms touch, pressing together. Good. As you exhale, gently start to bring your hands down through your heart center. Keep the palms pushing in toward one another. Holding here. Squeeze your belly in towards your spine. And inhale, take a nice deep breath, nice big circle up and around, lengthening into the fingertips. Start to push the palms together and allow them to come down towards your chest, keeping the engagement in your upper back, keeping the belly squeezing into the spine. Again, inhale, lift the arms, stretch into the fingertips, reach up, take the palms and allow them to touch, and press them together as they gently draw down in towards your heart center. Good. Keeping yourself here, lift into your chest and squeeze your belly into your spine. As you exhale, you're going to start to just gently bend your knees and sink your hips down as if you were sitting into a chair. Just take a moment here, feeling the back of your body start to activate. And checking in with where you are at here. Checking in with how your hips are feeling. So you can maybe shuffle from side to side and see how the right hip is doing, how the left hip is doing. Stand back down into your feet. Push the palms together. Inhale, start to lengthen your body up toward the ceiling. Stretch into your fingertips. And exhale, bring your palms together. Start to sink your hips down into your chair. Good. Inhale, pushing into the feet. Start to reach your arms up toward the ceiling. Lengthen up. Exhale, bring yourself down, gently drawing your palms down as well. I'm going to lift this up just a little bit so you can see what my hands are doing. As I inhale, I'm lengthening up into the fingertips. And then exhale, bring the palms down. Let your hips sink down. Last two like this. Inhale, stretch and lengthen. Just starting to warm up the front of the body and the back of the body. Exhale, sink. Last time we breathe up, lengthen into your fingertips. And then exhale, sink yourself all the way down into your chair pose. Think about the curve in your lower spine. And if there is any kind of curve, I want you to just squeeze your belly into your spine. Push your palms together and sink the hips a little bit lower. And just a gentle bounce into your knees. So nothing too intense, nothing too fast, but just starting to feel that level of engagement as your body moves up and down. Keep your belly squeezing in and your palms pushing together. Really feeling that into the legs. And remember to connect to your breath here. So it's at times like these that we want to kind of focus on what's happening with the movement and then we get out of breath. But just connecting to that inhale and exhale, in through the nose, out through the nose. Nice, sink your hips as low as possible, hold here. Squeeze your belly into the spine for 3, for 2, and 1. Beautiful job. Start to drop your body forward, allow your head to hang, and let yourself come into a forward fold. So I want you to start to bend your knees as deeply as you need to start to bring your chest down towards your thighs. Maybe grabbing onto opposite elbows here. Oh, and just allowing your breath to return back to its natural, normal rhythm. If you feel a little bit out of it, just gently rocking the body from side to side, seeing how the two sides of your body feel. Relax into your head and your neck. Let your shoulders just gently drop away from your ears. And then take the fingertips toward the ground. Start to bring your hands up to the fronts of your shins and push back into your legs, lengthen through the front of the chest. So you're pressing back into your hips, squeezing up into your belly, and lengthening through the spine. Nice. As you exhale, bend your knees, let your body drape over the legs. Inhale, straightening the legs up. Bring the hands to the shins, lift and lengthen the chest, move forward. And then exhale, bend your knees, let your body drape and fold. Last time like that, pushing the legs back, squeezing the belly up and looking forward, finding a vantage point that's not moving again. Exhale, drop yourself down, let the hands come to the ground this time, and start to walk yourself onto all fours, taking your knees down to the mat, allowing yourself to come into a tabletop pose, and just breathing here, making sure that your shoulders stack over your wrists and your hips stack over your knees. Keep your toes tucked under here so that there's nice space for yourself to sit back onto the heels. You're going to squeeze your belly in here, finding that engagement through your body. As you exhale, sink your hips back toward your heels. You're not in a full child's pose, but more just feeling that stretch into the arms. And then lift your body up, come forward. Keep your belly engaged as you exhale and move back, shift back. Inhale, roll it forward. Just start to feel where you notice the sensation into your right side or your left side. Where do you feel this more? Where does the stretch extend to? Let's take 2 more here. Move the hips back and shift the weight forward. Last time, move your hips back and now start to sink yourself down into a child's pose. So as I said, we're warming up a little bit into the feet so we can get quite deep into the plantar fascia here. If it's not comfortable for you to be in this position with the toes tucked, then untuck your toes and sink down into a regular child's pose, forehead on the ground. But keep your arms nice and active by keeping your elbows lifting up off of the mat. Keep your head dropping down toward the ground, breathing into your upper back. Good. Take a full inhale here and really feel the space at your lower spine start to rise like a balloon. And as you exhale, feel how as it falls, your chest falls a little bit more toward the ground. Take 2 more breaths like that. Inhaling, filling into the space at your lower back, breathing up. And as you exhale, allow your chest to relax as much as it can. Let the arms continue to slide forward while keeping the elbows lifted. Then shifting your weight forward into your hands. Start to squeeze your belly up into your spine. Tuck your toes under. Then gently starting to press your heels toward the back of your mat. So drawing yourself into a plank pose. Keep the hands pressing down. As you exhale, let your knees gently lower down toward the ground. Relax and disengage. Inhale is going to push back into the heels. Start to lengthen through the legs, finding that length through the lower body. Keeping your hands engaging here. Exhale, start to bend your knees. Let them drop toward the ground and relax. Let's take 3 more like that. Sorry, the dogs here have a lot to say this evening. Let's take 3 more. So push back into your heels, stretch your legs back, and try to find a nice strong line of energy all the way from the heels to the hip to the crown of the head. Keeping your hands pressing down and keeping your body engaged. Slowly starting to draw your knees down toward the ground. Whew. Nice, feel that all the way into the rib cage. Inhale, press back into your heels, lift and lengthen, pushing down into the hands, belly squeezes up. And exhale, let your knees start to drop. Feeling that slight activation through the core. Last one, you've got this, you can do it. Keep your hands pressing down equally and evenly. We'll roll the wrists out in a moment. Push down and back into the heels. Lengthen the body out, finding your length and breathe. For 3, you got this. 2 and 1. Slowly let the knees start to draw down. Sink your hips back to your heels, untuck your toes, child's pose. Take your hands and cross at the elbows. So just take a moment here, relaxing the head down. And let the palms start to move forward, straightening out the arms. Lift your body up away from your heels. Start to tuck your toes under, send your hips up toward the ceiling, and find a downward facing dog shape. So keeping your heels lifted off of the ground. If they don't feel quite comfortable, if this is your first down dog of the day, just focus on planting down into your hands. So really pressing down into the palms of the hands, pushing back into the heels, and allowing a soft bend through the knees. Now just gently start to take your left heel toward the ground, and then the right heel toward the ground, bending into the opposite knee. So as your left heel moves to the ground, the right knee bends deeply toward the chest, and vice versa. So keeping this pedaling motion quite deliberate. Often in yoga class, we kind of just want to, do this little wiggle, waggle, and it ends up not really stretching that much. So I want you to really focus on the heel moving toward the ground, and obviously you're not looking off to the side like I am here. I'm speaking, but keeping your head relaxed and just gently moving yourself from side to side. Pressing into the right, pressing into the left. Taking one more on either side. And slowly starting to walk your hands back one step at a time and sit yourself down as your hands move back onto your heels. So you're going to keep your heels lifting off of the ground, but you're sitting yourself back onto a seat on your heels. And allowing your body to find a little bit of lift. You can either keep the hands relaxed on the ground on either side of you, or if it feels comfortable for you, you can start to take the backs of the hands to the knees, finding balance here. So you're just finding that little bit of lift through your chest to stay lifted into the toes. If you're a little bit wobbly, again, the ground is there to support you. Just find a spot to focus on that's not moving, that helps to center your attention and your awareness. Good, just taking one more breath here. You've got a really nice flow going. So let's start to drop the knees toward the ground. If your hands are on the legs, take your hands down to the sides, drop your knees toward the ground. We're going to clamp down a little bit into the fingertips if that's available or if the ground is available. And we're just going to start to rock the weight back into the heels and forward onto the knees. So just feeling into this stretch and this motion. A little bit deep into the ankles and the ankle joints. So if you have anything happening through your Achilles tendon, or you generally have quite tight calf muscles, then this can be a little bit uncomfortable, and it can tinge a little bit. So just noticing if that is an issue, or if that isn't an area that you're experiencing a little bit more of a stretch. And we're just slowly starting to move through each part of this, really starting to warm up the bottoms of the feet. Just 3 more times. You can drop your heels as close to the ground as feels comfortable. Nice. Last time, drop your knees onto the ground. Start to walk yourself forward, back to all fours. Let the tops of your feet touch the ground. Squeeze your belly into the spine, and then slowly start to lift your knees up. So you're bringing your body forward into that high plank, but this time on the tops of the feet. Exhale, gently starting to draw your knees down. If you need to move yourself back a little bit further through the legs or through the arms, keep the shoulders stacked over the wrists. Squeeze, push down into the tops of your feet just as much as you can, as much as is comfortable. Push down, lift up. Nice. Exhale, let the feet lower down, knees lower down. Last time, pushing into the tops of your feet. Lift your knees, squeeze the belly, and push into the hands. And then exhale, let the knees start to lower. Sink your hips back to your heels, child's pose. Just feeling how the soles of the feet feel. Noticing how the lower part of your ankle feels as you do the stretch. And then sit in your child's pose. I want you to just rock the hips from side to side, letting the forehead relax toward the ground. Maybe feeling a little bit of a click or a crack from the ankles. And then slowly lifting yourself back up to a seat on your heels. Sitting up nice and tall. You're going to tuck the toes under. Start to bring your hands toward the ground. And then lift your hips up toward the ceiling, finding downward facing dog. Keep the knees bent. Do whatever you need to do here. And then gently, let's walk the feet up toward the hands, one step at a time. Bringing your body into a forward dangle, letting your upper body relax over your legs. Nice. Slowly start to roll yourself all the way back up to stand, each vertebra of the spine, letting the head and the neck come up last. Okay, you won't be able to see my head, but you can see my feet, which is pretty much what is important here. So I want you to take a nice big step back with your left foot, and actually not too wide a step, probably just a foot behind your right foot. And keeping the feet so that there is a little bit about hip width distance between them. It's not like one foot is directly in front of the other. Have that little bit of space. Start to push down into your front foot. Bend your back knee, bend your front knee as much as you can, and then lift yourself up. Push down into the back heel and lift it. Nice. Exhale. Start to bend down into the knee, feeling that stretch through the back of the calf, and then lifting up. Push down into the toes, lift the heel. 2 more times, bending the knees, drop down. Inhale, push down, lift up. Exhale, bend knees. Inhale, lift, press down, and lengthen. And you're just gently going to start to move with that. Let your heel start to push back and down into the ground, and then push into your toes and lift the heel. Exhale, finding your balance through your feet. Press into that back leg as much as is comfortable, and then lift yourself up through the heel, pushing into the toes. So let's move through that with the breath. Two more here. Lift up and down. Lovely. You're going to start to just pick your toes up and turn yourself toward the side of your mat. So making sure that the feet are a little bit wider than hip width distance apart here. Take your hands to your hips. Lengthen up through the crown of the head. And then let your body start to tilt forward, pressing your hips back, finding your way down toward the ground. But the hands come to the front of the mat, right in front of the face, and just feel that stretch into your legs. Bend and straighten your knees a couple of times. Breathing here. And bend your knees deeply. Let your head hang as you roll yourself up through each vertebra of your spine, allowing your head and your neck to come up last. Control. Relaxing into your shoulders and your upper back. Nice. And start to pick your toes up and shift over to the opposite side. So if you need to walk in a little bit more, again, you want nice space between the feet so that you don't have one foot in front of the other, but keeping that back knee quite close to the front. Starting to bend into your left knee. It's more about the lift through the heel than it is about the bend into this front knee. So you want to feel that as you bend the knee, you're keeping the heel pressing toward the ground and feeling that stretch into the Achilles tendon. Last, again, bend and stretch through the back of that leg. Inhale, press back. 2 more like that. Bending the knee, stretching, sinking. And inhale. Last time, bend into that knee. Feel the stretch down. Nice. Lift up. And start to push down into the toes, lift up into the ball of the foot, and let the heel drop down. Finding your balance through your feet. Just pressing down and back into the heel, and up, feeling the stretch through the arch of your foot. Maybe your feet are already starting to have some kind of conversation with you at this point about the kinds of shoes that you wear, or any old injuries or ankle instability that may be a little bit of an issue or a challenge for finding balance and finding a bit of stretch in these positions. So just notice where you feel sensations, especially into your legs and your feet. Nice. Let's take the toes, pick them up, start to turn yourself back toward the side of your mat. This time, turn your toes out, heels in. You're going to start to bend into your knees, sink your hips nice and low, and just find a goddess squat. And keep the hands on the knees for this one, because we're moving up and down. Allow yourself to draw up, lengthen and squeeze into the belly, and then exhale, bend the knees, softening down, sit into your hips. Inhale, push down, lift up, squeeze. Exhale, sinking yourself nice and low, really feeling into the pelvic floor here as you drop. Inhale, lift yourself up, and just notice how your body can open up, or maybe it feels quite tight in this position. You see where you can move to with your breath. The exhale takes you into depth, but the inhale helps you find some space. So taking 2 more breaths and 2 more little squats here. Lift up. And sinking yourself into your squat, the squat that feels right for you. If you can place your elbows on the outsides of your knees, go right ahead and do that. You can sit yourself nice and low. Otherwise, you can put your hands onto your knees and squeeze your belly into your spine. So just finding a position that feels comfortable, even if you're lifted up here or holding up on the top of the thighs, that's also perfectly okay. It just depends on where you find your edge, your barrier. Starting to sink into that place and breathe. We're going to twist from side to side. So drop your right elbow forward, your right shoulder forward, and then move over to the opposite side. Left shoulder forward, twisting over to the right. And just start to connect into the rhythm of your breath as it is moving through your body. Breathe in through your nose and out through your nose. Inhale brings you to center. Exhale twists you. Last 2. And last one on either side. Come back to center. Squeeze into your belly. Start to stretch your legs. Straighten up. Lengthen. Whew. How are those inner thighs feeling? I hope okay. Maybe you're really feeling that activate into your bums, especially if you've been sitting quite a lot today. So let's just stretch that out with a little forward fold. You can give your hips a little bit of a shuffle and a little shake out just to make sure that you're not holding too much tension here in your lower limb. And then we're going to take the hands onto the hips. Again, lengthen up through the crown of the head. Push down into your feet. And start to fold forward from your chest, bending and hinging at the hips. Let your body start to just gently roll toward the ground. And whenever you find that place that feels comfortable, you can bend your knees to bring your hands toward the ground if you do have a bit of tightness through the hamstrings. But if you would like, maybe starting to walk the fingertips forward this time for a different kind of stretch. And you can experiment with what feels best for your hamstrings, but bending into your knees and then straightening into the legs, allowing yourself to just relax. Hello, how are you doing? Thank you. So just breathing into your upper body, your upper back. And taking a moment, starting to lift into your chest. Good. Keep the legs nice and straight. And keep your hand down onto the mat. Left hand down. Start to stretch your right arm up toward the sky. Open into the chest. Push back into your right hip. Take your right hand back toward the mat. And start to lift your left hand up toward the ceiling. Opening into the opposite side of your chest. Nice. Exhale over to the opposite side. Left hand down. Right hand lifts. And exhale. Both hands come onto the mat. Relax your head, relax your upper body. Start to bend and soften into your knees. And slowly roll yourself up through each vertebra of your spine, allowing your head and your neck to come up last, letting your body find that stability through your feet. Good. I hope your feet are feeling quite good. You can start to step your ankles together. Feel the feet are together once again. And we're going to stabilize into the right foot here. Stretch your left foot out in front of you. And then take a nice big roll through the ankle joint, letting yourself just feel that release into your side. Especially if you do, again, have a lot of tightness through your calves. I want you to think about making the circle as almost as expansive as possible. I'm pretty sure that's the word I would like to use. I like to use the analogy of imagining your toes scooping peanut butter out of a jar. So I want you to really think about expanding through the toes as you come forward and then pointing the foot and allowing yourself to just find that bit of rotation as you move around. Yeah? Nice. Let's take one more around here. And then let your left foot come back to meet the ground. Start to press down into that side of your body, lifting your right foot up, pushing and extending it forward. And let's move through that on the other side. So we're not going to do the opposite direction just yet. I want you to feel into this side of your ankle first. Breathing there for 3, 2. Think about those toes. Actually, let's do a couple more. Why not? Move around. Nice. Last one. And then start to bring that right foot down toward the ground. So you find your balance wherever that works for you. Let your legs just start to move from side to side and wobble out. And then start to stand down into your right foot. Opposite side now. This time we're going to point and flex into the toes. So pointing your left toes forward and flexing your foot back towards your face. Pointing and flexing. If you do need to be balancing on something and you're kind of wobbling around, then please feel free to stabilize yourself on a couch or on the wall, whatever works for you and your body. Wherever your body is at today as well is completely different from where it was yesterday. It's probably very different from where it may be tomorrow. Just all about showing up with what is present here. What are we feeling in this moment? Where are the sensations in the leg, in the ankle? Let's take one more point and flex here. And then draw the sole of your foot onto the mat. Just feeling into the difference between the two legs. So let your legs waddle out from side to side. You can lift your heels if that feels comfortable. But breathe into it, finding that rhythm and balance in the two sides of your body. Next time you push the weight down into the left side, let's really plant it there, imagining roots growing from your foot down into the ground, squeezing into your upper thigh so you really protect that knee joint. And then start to lift your right foot up off of the ground, flexing the toes back toward the face. Then exhale, pointing into the foot. So inhale to flex and exhale to point, moving this way so that you feel the engagement into the leg, but you also keep yourself nice and stable into this left side. So sometimes we want to do these really crazy and elaborate balances and all of these amazing moves, but it's really about finding our stability in the basics and finding really strong foundations. So let's build into the feet. I know this may burn a little bit. Again, the feet will start having conversations with you, but let's just breathe into it. You stop when you need to. Last 3. Nice. Let that foot come toward the ground. Whew. Feeling into that left side and just gently bounce it out. Bounce into the hips, bend into the knees. Start to lift your heels up off of the ground now as you bounce. So you're moving over from side to side, but lifting one heel at a time. Nice. Feel that movement. Start to just stretch all the way up through the front of the shin. So as you bounce over and you're pressing into the ball of the foot, the front of the shin activates. So for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice. Just standing into the feet for a moment. I know the screen's been on my feet for a little while here. I do apologize, but we're going to just wrap up with a couple more movements into the fronts of the shins and into the legs. So it's a really, let me come down here and say this. It's important for us to have the flexibility to move up and down. And so sometimes we find our bodies get quite tight and quite stiff, especially when we're sitting quite a lot. And that makes it really difficult for us to get into squatting positions or to do things that feel quite intense on the hips. So we're going to work a lot in these classes, especially in my classes. I love to focus on functional movements. So let's work on getting from standing down to the ground. So you're going to be standing up, and I want you to get down without using your hands, if that's possible. If not, completely understandable, but let's see how we go and where the body finds any restriction. So you can either start bending the knees and then bringing your hands to the ground and dropping yourself down if that's what you need to do. Or you can find different ways to get down. Squatting yourself down, bringing one knee down at a time, coming down, sitting. Yeah? And we can lay down onto the ground. Yeah? Okay. So now is the thing to be able to get back up from this position. How does the body respond? And what is your natural pattern? So I just want you to move yourself back to a standing position in whatever way feels natural for you. Lifting yourself up. You can try not to use your hands if you can help it. If that's something that you can't do, that's okay too. How is that? How does that feel? Okay. So once you meet me standing, let's all meet here. Stand down into the feet. I'm going to teach you a way here to get down, and it may feel a little bit uncomfortable. You may need to use your hands, but I like to call this one the matrix. And we're going to really test the fronts of the thighs and the fronts of the shins, and also a little into the feet. So I want you to start to bend into your knees, and I want you to start to drop your hips toward your heels and the knees toward the ground, and then you come down. Yeah? From there, rock back up, push down into the heels, and lift yourself to stand. So you're basically moving down into a squat. If that's not possible, you take the hands toward the ground. Drop yourself down, and then you're here. To move back, hands can come to the ground. To push you back, if you have the core stability, to squeeze back and lift the knees. Something quite, it's very deep in the pelvic floor to have to really engage up, pull up into the lower belly, and then you lift your knees, using that strength not only in your Achilles tendons, but also in the fronts of the thighs. We'll work on it. Push down into the heels now. Start to straighten your legs, push your hips back, and lift yourself up to stand. Whew. Okay, all right, so I just wanted to give you a couple of those. Shake your legs out. Just give yourself a little bit of a wobble, a little bit of a wiggle. Whew. Keep it going, keep it breathing. Nice, and then stand into your feet. Whew, we're gonna do what we did just at the beginning of class just one more time, but this time we're gonna use our hands. So my feet are gonna look like this. I'll shift myself up in a moment. My feet are gonna look like this. I lift on my inhale, I push down into my toes, I lift my heels up. Exhale, I lower heels down and shift the weight back. This is what I'm doing with my hands. Inhale, palms up, stretch up into the fingers as high as you can go. Exhale, gently dropping the hands, palms face down and letting yourself come down. So you're synchronizing the movement of the feet with the movement of the arms and also the movement of the breath. Cool, so many things to think about. But you got this. Just finding your own balance in your body. As you inhale, push down into the toes, start to lift your heels, reach your arms up toward the ceiling with your breath. And then the exhale will bring your hands and your body down at the same time. Inhale, lift your eyes. First couple, let's do in through the nose and out through the nose with the breath. Last two. Last one. You're going to sound a little funny here, like you're fogging up a mirror. Inhale. Or just like a foghorn. It's funny. Okay. And now let's start to use the breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Or if you don't want to make a sound going, then you can whistle through the mouth or through the teeth. If that's a more comfortable whistle for you. So we'll go inhale, exhale, or inhale, exhale, inhale, last three. Last two. Just allow your body to relax into the standing position, Tadasana. So grounding, rooting into your feet. Feeling again like roots growing from the soles of your feet down into the earth. Really work the feet and the ankle joints, so you'll be feeling this different kind of warmth into that part of your body. Just notice what that feels like. Breathe into that. Relax the shoulders away from your ears. Keep your belly slightly engaged. And as you inhale, you're going to start to stretch your arms up toward the ceiling, lengthen into the fingertips, let the palms find each other, push them together. And exhale, gently draw your hands through the heart center, elbows out to the side. Inhale, reaching out, stretch into the fingertips, lengthen up. Let the palms find each other and keep the belly squeezing in. As you exhale, push the palms together, let your body come back into that standing position, letting your hands drop away from your body. Start to drop your chin to your chest. Feel the stretch through your upper back. As you exhale, bend yourself forward, letting your shoulders drop forward first, and then drawing your body down to the ground into a fold. Allowing yourself to just hang heavy here, maybe grabbing onto the opposite elbows, letting yourself find a little bit of a dangle, a sway, making sure again the feet are a nice distance apart so you don't have too much strain through the legs. Keep the knees nice and soft and keep the body heavy. I just want you to take 4 deep breaths here, and I know that may sound excruciating to some people, but I want you to just rely on yourself to relax with each breath. Allow yourself to let go through the head, through anything that's tense, breathing into the lower spine. Amazing job. Letting your hands start to find the ground. Gently starting to bring yourself down to a seat on your heels. So we're going to sit down into a squat, a yogi squat here. If you're comfortable sitting onto your heels in full deep squat, then go right ahead and you sink your weight back, allowing your body to find a little bit of lift. If not so much, then you can just gently bring yourself to a place where your heels are lifting and your knees are kind of forward, but still out to the sides. You don't want the knees facing in or to be too close together. The knees are out and we're engaging into the inner thighs and into the hips. If you can sit back comfortably, that's great, but find a little bit more lift and length through your spine. Bring your hands in towards your chest and let your elbows push onto your knees. And wherever your body is, just thank it for its willingness to come to this place. Start to notice where it starts to send signals, and different signals can happen. You know, there are different ways that your body speaks to you. Sometimes it's through electrical kind of impulse, or sometimes it's through a temperature change, like it feels quite warm or quite cool in the area that's being stretched. So just notice if there are any of those kinds of sensations popping up as we sit into this pose. Again, the hands can stay at the heart center, or if you're balancing, you keep your fingertips on the ground. And just finding a little bit of breath, maybe a little bit more sink into your heels. If you are on your heels already, you can play with lifting your toes up and flexing them back towards your shins. That can feel quite interesting, especially for the fronts of the legs. Keep your chest lifting. Then let your toes lower down if that's where you've come to. Let yourself come back one step at a time. Move yourself forward onto your hands and your knees. And just take a few moments to roll your spine from side to side, or move up and down. Maybe round in a bit of a circle. Just checking in with how that made your body and your lower body feel. Again, I like the tail wagging kind of motion. It generally feels quite freeing for your sacrum or your lower back, this bone right here at the base of the spine. So just give it a little bit of a move from side to side, and then you're going to start to sink it toward your heels. Sit yourself down and find the child's pose. And just taking a moment here, relax the arms this time, relax the forehead. Just allowing your body to fully surrender down to the ground. If the knees are more comfortable moving out a little bit wider, then go right ahead and do that. And then start to just engage each breath. Nice full belly breaths in, long breaths out. Taking a few moments here in this position. And slowly walk yourself back, one hand at a time. You're going to roll yourself over onto your side. Bring the knees to face up toward the ceiling. Bring the soles of the feet onto the ground. And just gently start to straighten your elbows. Feeling that through your upper spine and drop your chin to your chest. Feeling stretch all the way through the back of your body. And then allow yourself to roll all the way down onto your back. Let the shoulders relax away from the ears. Bringing your back onto the ground into a constructive resting posture. But we're actually going to set this up as a bridge. So relax your shoulders, push the palms down into the mat, push the soles of your feet down into the mat, and then start to squeeze your belly and lift your hips up toward the ceiling. So finding that bridge pose through the base of the spine, holding here, the knees aren't together. There's a little bit of separation in space, but I want you to think about drawing them toward each other. So drawing them in and keeping the lift of your hips pressing up. It's going to really help to activate and engage the lower body through the hips. Let's hold and breathe, letting the shoulders take the weight, letting the feet take the weight. Push down into all four corners of your feet, at the balls of your feet, at the base of the heel. Push down and then lift your hips up. Push and lift at the same time for one last breath. You've got this. 3, 2, and 1. Exhale, let the belly, let the hips start to lower toward the ground. Release one vertebra at a time. Oh. And let your lower spine make contact with the ground here. Squeezing into your lower belly, bring your hands onto the body. Take a nice deep inhale into your lower belly. Open your mouth, exhale. Again, inhale. Open mouth, exhale. Last time, deep breath in. Fill your belly up with breath and feel your hands move away from one another. Inhale. And exhale, let it go. Slowly starting to bring yourself into a little bit of a hug position, bringing your right knee and your left knee into your chest. Just drawing in, giving yourself a little squeeze, maybe a little rock from side to side, massaging your lower back and your hips. And taking a moment, you can grab onto maybe opposite wrists, opposite forearms, or opposite elbows if that feels better for you. And start to draw your knees in for a deeper hug kind of motion. Thinking about expanding your belly against your thighs with your breath. And as you exhale, you're going to draw your knees in towards your chest and taking that compression out of the spine. So the inhale will fill your belly up with breath. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Just holding your knees in, taking a moment and giving yourself just a little bit of love, sending yourself some happy, positive feelings and thoughts. Whether it's just telling yourself something positive or thinking about something you love about yourself. Just connect into that feeling. Draw your knees in. And as you exhale, you're going to start to soften all of this grip. Start to relax into the arms. Let the knees open to either sides of your ribcage, drawing yourself into just a kind of a half happy baby on your back with the feet still moving toward the ground. And just keeping the knees drawing in, breathing into your upper back, releasing into your lower belly, into your hips. And take your hands and start to just make a nice big circle through your knees, round, in, and out. Circling out and around. One last time. And let your feet start to stretch out in front of you. Bringing yourself into Shavasana, or allowing your body to relax onto the ground. Take the feet and let them flop out to either sides of the room. Relax into your upper back. Relax your hips, relax your belly. And just take a few breaths here. Taking a moment to let go of the control. Releasing the breath. Allow your body to just stay here, feeling the sensations that you spent the last hour creating. Connecting back into your natural rhythm of breath as it flows in and out. Gently starting to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Bring your body back into full awareness of where you are in space. Maybe a little bit of a stretch out. You can start to reach your arms up over your head, lengthen into your fingertips and your toes. Full body stretch. And as you inhale, start to make your way over onto your preferred side, using your bicep as a cushion. Just letting your body find its way back up into a comfortable seat in your own time with your breath. Sad a couple of people had to leave before, but you just come into a nice comfortable seat, letting yourself rest, maybe letting the hands relax into the lap or onto the knees. Close the eyes or keep them open. For today, I want to share this with you, serenity. I am aware of the difference between what I have to accomplish, what I have to put in the hands of others, and what I have to leave up to destiny. As a master, I am at peace with that. I'll say it again. I am aware of the difference between what I have to accomplish, what I have to put in the hands of others, and what I have to leave up to destiny. As a master, I am at peace with that. Just taking a moment and thanking yourself for your practice. Thank you for showing up and moving with me. I really appreciate it. I will be here every Thursday from now on, and I'm so excited to continue to guide you through different ways to open up your body. So thank you. Have a beautiful rest of your evening, and sending you lots of love. Thanks. Jessica. Thank you, Jessica.
Thanks so much, Tarin. That was amazing. Thank you.
So glad. That's awesome.
And I'm busy doing the Thrive Wellness Reset, so I'm doing your meditations as well.
And how are you going with the Thrive Wellness Reset?
Yes, I was very tired on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then today I'm feeling amazing, like definitely awesome.
Good.
I didn't have headaches and stuff, what everyone else was complaining of, but I was very tired yesterday most. And then now, yeah, just so much better today and lighter and freer. And yeah, that was really nice yoga class though. So thank you.
I'm so glad to hear that. Cool. Thank you so much for joining. Have a beautiful evening.
You too. Thanks so much. Bye. Cheers.